Good morning. Sitting in the freezer camp today. Yeah, you can still get these mugs. So it is time for us to send the American breasts that we've been raising to freezer camp. There's only 10 of them. It will only be Charlie and I doing it. So we're going to show you how easy it is for 2 people to do it. Hopefully it's easy. It's pretty easy for us. But I just want to show the fact that 2 people can do it. I know it's a small scale, but it obviously take longer if you have more birds. So let's start getting set up. So I got what I could get set up right now. Waiting on Charlie to get here. He'll bring the plucker and his pot for scalding. But this is our little setup. I don't want to touch base on these birds for a second because I was on TikTok and I was talking about how it's time for them to go to freezer camp. And a lot of people, well, first off, didn't read the description and where it says American breast, but they think that these are Cornish cross. And they're not. They're like, you're gonna starve. There's not very much meat for a meat bird. Let me explain what an American breast chicken is. First off, you see, they're not the biggest birds grown out. This is 16 weeks, okay? And it's also a rooster. It's different, right? You think roosters are real tough. Well, that's what's different about them as well. Well, the American breast chicken originated over in France. And basically, back in the day, the French just bred together a whole bunch of fowl, local fowl, and ended up coming up with this breed. So it's kind of a delicacy. It's kind of a delicacy, and it's all because of how the fat in these birds are. Okay, so whenever you do raise them, you're not necessarily going to raise them to fill your freezer, because first off, they take 16 weeks. You can get normal heritage breed meat chickens that will weigh out to about 6, 7, almost 8 pounds in 12 weeks, like your Rhode Island Reds. Your Cornish cross are going to grow that big in 8 weeks. These are more of like, if you want to be fancy. We're not doing it to be fancy because I was able to get them earlier in the year, and so I needed meat in the fridge or in the freezer now because I'm not going to be able to get my Cornish cross till later on in the year. So we got them from our buddy Wes. He is actually raising them. He's actually hatching them and selling them. We did end up with a hen, and I thought about keeping her and a rooster, but I just don't think we're going to worry about that right now because of our plan with the Cornish cross, or even just possibly looking for a different heritage breed. So that's what makes these guys so different, is the fact that you will butcher the roosters because of the way their meat is. They're not going to be tough. Their fat actually marbles inside of their meat. Now, I am going to, of course, this is my first time. I'm basing all this that I'm telling you off of research. Whenever we do butcher them, of course, I'm going to see for myself. I'm not saying that these people are liars. I just want to see what it looks like. I can't wait to taste it. And, of course, we're going to bring you along whenever we do it. So, we're still waiting on Charlie. When he gets here, we'll get stuff set up. We'll get them butchered. Shouldn't take us too long. And then we'll see what these guys look like on the inside. All right, cool. So Charlie has finally showed up. Boom. He brought his plucker and his bucket for the scalding. So this is our setup we got here. We'll start with our chickens. They go to the Conway to heaven. Then we'll scald them, pluck them, and they go to a table where is it called eviscerating them? Is that when you take all the innards out? That sounds cool. We're going to say it. Could be wrong. People can correct me. Then we're going to eviscerate the chickens. And then they go to the cooler right here where we take vinegar, distilled white vinegar, put it in there with ice, cover them up, and they'll sit in there for a day before I pack it. Now, another thing to keep in mind, I took the feed away from the birds yesterday. And I took it away fairly early because I knew that they are foragers and they will. You see that one over there eating grass right now. They're going to be on the grass. So they're set in this spot for a solid 24 hours to limit the amount of food that they had in their system. So once that water heats up to about 145, right?
Yep.
145, we'll start getting after it. And I'm excited to see what these birds are going to be like. So one of the things too that Charlie and I were talking about doing, a lot of people feel very uncomfortable doing their own meat birds. A lot of people want to do them, and they'll get them, and then they start looking. Okay, what is that?
Dandelion.
It's a long dandelion. Okay, so a lot of people want to do their own meat birds, but not many people are comfortable doing them. So Charlie and I decided that because we've done this enough that we feel very comfortable doing it, that if you're in the local, you want to say like South Carolina area, we'll be willing to come out, help you with your birds, do it for you for a fee of course. So just shoot me an email or comment in the comments. Let us know if you're looking for help, if you want us to, we can talk to you, we can walk you through it, help you out any way possible, so that way more and more people are able to do this and learn, and that's the biggest part.
Yep,
that's what we want.
sure.
Building community, because in that way, once you learn, then maybe you could help somebody else and things like that. So hit us up, let us know in the comments if you need help, want help, just want to talk about it, and then we'll get back with you and we'll sort it out. So yeah, but water's still heating up. It's going to take a little bit because, of course, it's cold water. But we're about 100 degrees right now, so it shouldn't take too much longer. And then we'll show you how a two-man operation can get this done fairly quickly. Alright, so this is what the American Bresse looks like after we've cleaned it, okay? You can tell, yes, of course, it's a small bird, but you can also tell by the fact that it doesn't have as much fat on it as, say, your Cornish crosses. That's because all that fat is in this breast, in that two breast pieces right there. It's going to be in the thighs, so that's why we wanted these. Of course, also because we wanted birds to eat. But that's the biggest difference in the American Bresse and any kind of other meat heritage birds. They're not a big bird. It's similar to like a Cornish hen. You know, Cornish hens are a delicacy, so are these American Bresse. All right, so we have finished the butchering process. You're gonna have to stick around to find out like what the actual bird looks like when I'm gonna cook it. I will break it down and we'll look at it and see what the meat looks like, and of course we're gonna taste it. Yeah. So appreciate you coming out, man.
Hey, no problem, man. It was awesome, and I think it took us.
That was the most awkwardest thing we just did there. Here,
it's awesome.
Let's do that. Hey, thanks, bud.
Hey, that was awesome. But it only took us like what, an hour?
About an hour.
10
birds. Well, 13 birds because you brought 3 roosters. Us two doing it was definitely. I mean, we had it down. Had a good system.
So it worked out really well.
Sometimes, I mean, it's great to have a bunch of people doing stuff, but a lot of times when you have too many hands in the pot, it makes it hard. So, my suggestion is if y'all do birds yourselves, invite people over to help you, but just realize that there's going to be a couple people staying around, doing nothing, while some people are doing more work. So don't be upset about it. Sometimes it's just a get together of butchering birds and possibly drinking some beers and just congregating. That's get your community together, have fun and do it.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah. So now we're going to discuss what we're doing this evening.
Yeah.
And
we'll figure this out.
We'll figure this out. So, appreciate y'all.
Take care. Have a
Catch you
good
next
one.
one.